The following program was produced by a PAC TV community producer and does not reflect the views or opinions of the PAC TV staff or the PAC TV Board of Directors. The content contained herein is the sole responsibility of the community producer.
Hi, welcome to a special edition of Car Care 101. I want to thank you for tuning in today. I have three very special people with me today. We have one thing in common. We need, use, or like automobiles. And during the course of time and the friendship with these guys, we've talked about automobiles in various ways, about different service facilities. And the most important thing that we've talked about is the art of communicating with your repair facility. And as I'm sure you're aware, with the price of gasoline ever escalating, it's important to have a good line of communication with your repair facility so that you can get value-added service and save money at the pump. Today, I would like to introduce you to my friends. First is Charles Checkley. Charles is on the Good, Bad, and Ugly show. Thank you, Charlie.
You're very welcome.
Next, Charlie, we have Frank from the Good, Bad, and Ugly show.
I'm the oogly one. We're always wondering about that.
The show airs on Thursday night, PAC TV, Channel 13. And lastly, but by no means last, I'm sorry, David, we have David Feiner of Falmouth Cable. And Dave is a good friend and valued friend.
I'm still trying to figure out how I fit in here, but...
Well, if you had a television program on TV, I'd announce the date and the playing time, but I don't think we can get it on Plymouth Access. So, again, I'm very happy these guys have consented to be here today and give up their valuable time. This will be a two-part show because it's action-packed television. I don't know which one of you guys would like to start first. We want to start.
It's like in school. Who wants to start
Who wants to
first?
start first? Well, we do really have three very interesting television stories here, and the names will remain anonymous for various reasons. Yes. But anyways, Charlie, why don't we start with you?
Right, might as well get over with, right?
Well, not so much get it over
Well,
with.
no, to get the information out there.
I found, when you came to me, I found your story rather interesting because you approached it in a way which a lot of people I've known over the years, they'll say to me, well, do you know where I can get this done? Do you know where I can get that done?
Yeah.
What would you like to convey to the viewers?
That specific incident, and most times when you are in need of a mechanical repair individual, it's an incident.
Yes.
Being kind. Sometimes it's a disaster. Frank has probably got a couple of them,
Yes.
right, recently. But one I had was I went to a place and a dealership, Ford dealership in the local area. There's quite a few of them, so He'll remain anonymous.
Right, we don't,
Okay.
we don't go there.
And they said, well, I needed a front-end alignment, I probably needed ball joints, and, a few other things, and gave me an estimate of about, between $1,000 and $1,300.
Oh, great money and fixed
And I
income.
says, well,
Very
it's
good.
like when you go into the ball field and they tell you how much it costs. Says, hey, I just want to see the ball game. I don't want to buy the franchise, right? It's,
Very good,
know.
Sir Charles.
So I
do want
says,
to buy the franchise.
and some franchises I'd like to buy into, but beside the point. Anyhow, I says, well, I think like most people who run up against something like that, I like a second opinion,
Right.
right? So I check on my good buddy Ken Buechs, who knows automobiles. He knows this area and where to get reliable repairs. So I checked Ken. I says, where should I go? So he told me, and I went there, and all I needed was struts on the front end, right? Alignment, strut, minor repairs, okay? Come to about $65, $70, and everything works perfectly.
Charlie, very important question.
Yes.
How come you never gave me the difference between the $1,300 and the $65? You never gave me the difference as a profit. Frank seems to think I make money doing this stuff.
Yeah, but you keep telling everybody you don't make money, so I didn't want to ruin your reputation. How's that for thinking off the cuff?
That was good, Charlie.
All right.
That was
No,
very
I wouldn't want to dampen your professionalism, okay? No payola or anything like that.
No, there's no bribery going on.
No, definitely not. No,
Where's that
it's all
50?
above board.
Okay.
Yeah, right. After the show, okay?
When you went through this experience, as best I can recall,
Yep.
when you went through it, you had stated to me that you had an uneasy feeling about the $1,300 estimate.
Yeah, I always have an uneasy feeling when somebody wants to separate me from $1,300.
Was there anything of that conversation that you can put your finger on, aside from the $1,300, that led you to believe that you weren't getting the straight?
I really didn't think the problem was that severe, okay?
What did
So-
you go in there for?
Only in there because the front end,
What was happening?
it was, let go of the wheel, it's kind of going one
Charlie,
side.
you're
the
not
other.
supposed to let go of the wheel.
Well, hey, you test that every once in a while. When your tires get old, and when your truck gets 5 years old, you.
His insurance just went up about $400.
Hey, that was a test that my dad used to use when he had his big Oldsmobiles. He'd drive down the road, he'd take his hands off the wheel. If it went real straight, he says, great.
Charlie, when you're right down the road, the rainwater goes this way or the rainwater goes that way.
No.
Were the roads paved in Maine?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Oh, that's funny, Charlie. I like that.
Were they 2 lanes or 1 lane?
It works. Try it sometime. Be careful. Be on a straight road, no traffic.
With nobody else on
Make
it.
sure it's 2 a.m. and nobody else is
Yeah,
there.
that's right,
exactly.
exactly.
Right.
And then the police will pull him over.
exactly.
He's been drinking. How can you prove he's been drinking?
No, that was the way my dad figured out whether he needed alignment or new tires or something, and it seemed to work for him, so.
Did you build a relationship with these people?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, I actually returned later on because I had problems with my no air conditioning
Oh, really?
in the truck. Yeah, I turned on the air conditioning, when it got up to 85 degrees, and it don't help. It was dead. DOA.
Oh, very
Okay,
good.
so I went in and they fixed that for a nominal fee, and very good outfit. I'm glad that you recommended them.
So basically then, let's see, we got, what do you say, $65 for one thing
Yeah.
and $1,300 was the estimate. How
Yeah.
much was the air conditioning, Charlie?
I don't know, about 70, 60, I don't know, $60, $80. I don't remember these figures.
So
I just
you're-
read out the check.
His wife writes out the checks.
You're into me for about $1,100 then.
Yeah, I guess so.
I'll have a regular coffee and a
Right,
dozen
okay,
bones
right.
flush.
Keep working on it, and we'll keep building up the nest egg, and, your credit's good.
Jeez.
Oh, isn't that the way it works?
No, kind of, sort of.
Okay.
I want to know when the donuts arrive so I can be here.
Yeah. We all need a little extra, extra lard. How's the truck running?
Running great.
Yeah.
Yep.
Staying cool,
Oh, yes, very cool now.
and you're keeping your hands on the wheel.
Well, yeah, occasionally, yeah.
Okay.
But I do need
Occasionally.
some new tires, so I got to keep checking that to see if when the tires are worn down, so I may have to replace them pretty soon.
So you started off with a bad experience.
Yeah.
Because you felt
Yeah,
uneasy.
yeah. And then I had 2 good ones.
And then you had 2 good ones.
Yeah, that's not too bad.
If you need 2 new tires, I got 6 ones.
You had 6 ones?
Yes.
I need about 4
From
new
your
ones. He's
bad
got
experience.
65,000 miles on them.
You've got what?
65,000 on a
On
set
your
of tires.
tires?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, explain to me, how did you get 65,000 miles out of a set of tires?
I haven't changed them.
But,
That's a good answer. I haven't checked.
but I mean, the average set of tires is not 65,000 miles.
I'm not an average type of a driver.
So you,
Right, he drives without his hands.
oh, that's right, I forgot
That's
about
right.
that. Yes. That is unusual, 65. What brand tires are they?
I don't know. They came with the truck. They're originals.
No kidding. So
Yeah.
you must rotate them and
No.
watch the...
No, 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 no.
Breaking all the rules.
Charlie, you're breaking all of the rules.
Hey, I'm
that we
sorry
talk
about that.
I mean, this is, you know?
Well, I have if I could take a couple minutes, I'll give you a real good way to solve a problem of tires wearing out prematurely.
Only a couple of seconds.
Okay.
A couple of minutes, Charlie.
Okay, I bought a 1970 Toyota. Okay?
Yeah.
Toyota Corolla 1200.
I remember those.
They got more horsepower in motorcycles than they had in that automobile.
Right,
Okay?
exactly.
It had 12-inch wheels, 512s, remember it
I
vividly,
remember those
okay?
too, Charlie. I'm sorry, I'm getting to
Okay.
remember this stuff.
Okay, the first 12,000 miles, they were bare.
Okay.
I'm saying, I can't afford this. I said, so I want a bigger tire. They said, sorry, that rim, that's all you get, it's 512s. I says, good, I'll go get me new rims. Went to the junkyard, I got me 13-inch wheel rims. Took them to the machine shop, had him drill a hose to fit my system. Okay, went on and bought 615s.
Very good,
650,
Charlie.
15s.
Very good.
Okay?
Very good.
I put those on there, 45,000 miles. Better gas mileage. Bigger tire, right? When the tire rotates, you get a lot more distance.
Right.
Very little accumulation on the odometer.
Did you ever get arrested for going slow?
Nope,
No.
no,
Very good.
no. I made sure of that. You know,
Yeah.
that's one thing you don't catch me on.
Sir Charles is the ultimate innovator.
Yes.
Right. No,
Yes.
I figured that, why should I spend, so it cost me about $4 or $5 for the rims. It cost me another $3 to have them drilled, and, oh, by the way, the 650 13 tires were cheaper than 512s because you couldn't buy them.
No, they were...
Nobody held,
they were
nobody
kind of
bought them
difficult
except
to
the
find.
Toyota dealership, and you know what they charge,
Yeah.
as opposed to, the regular
The
tire
days
place.
of bias ply tires.
Oh, yes,
are long
right.
gone. Yes, yes.
So I took it in for service after I had the tires changed, and the guy says, what'd you do to your car? I says, well, I just fixed the problem. He said, what was the problem? I says, no mileage on the tires. So he just smiled, and I think he passed the word around. When you go sell too many 12-inch tires.
Okay, very interesting.
Right? So I'm very aware that automobiles can cost money,
Yes, they can.
and if you don't maintain them properly, it's going to cost you big time.
Yes, they are.
Short-lived,
Yes, they are.
big-time tires.
Very interesting, Charlie. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Now, I guess we should flip a coin to see who wants to tell the next tale here.
He already told me he'd beat me up if he didn't get to go second.
Frank said that to
Okay.
you?
Right.
Yeah, think about that. He's twice my size. I'm going to beat him up, right?
Well, okay, well, just keep one thing in mind, guys. By the way, those of you that are watching at home, this is a 2-segment show because this is packed
You
with
get
information.
2 shots.
Yeah, they're
at
going to be
us.
the first segment. I'm going to be the
You'll
second
be the
segment.
second segment. Okay. Frank,
Yes, sir.
you've got a couple of war
Oh
stories
God!
to
You know,
talk about.
the thing I want to know is why is it that when I see a light go on in my dash,
Yeah.
it costs me $5,000?
That's because you're a big television star. Everybody thinks you have money.
Let me go back. I have I think another story that's equal to that, if not even more than that. I had a Ford Windstar.
I remember that
Okay.
vehicle. Yes.
And, I generally, whenever I hear strange noises, the first thing I do is I bring it to mechanics,
yeah.
that I'm used to dealing with, okay? So I went in and I had my brakes done over because they were making noise and squeaking and all that kind of stuff. So we go in and we install new brakes, and brake linings. And, you know, paid the man, and he advised me that it takes about a week or 10 days to break in the new linings and so forth and so on, which is fine. So I kept hearing this sound like coffee grinding.
Well, you like coffee, don't
Well,
you?
you understand, I'm in the coffee business, but I mean,
Yeah.
I wasn't grinding coffee while I was driving the car.
Did you spill any into the dash?
Yeah.
Yes. but every time I put my foot on the brake, it would sound like the actual sound of somebody grinding coffee.
Okay.
And at first I said, well, he said it was only going to be 8 to 10 days or so, and it'll break in and so forth. But it kept getting worse and worse and worse and worse. So finally, I couldn't wait the 10 days, so I went in within 5 or 6 days. And he says, well, he says, so I think what I did, he says, I put in heavy-duty linings, he says, and some of these automobiles do not take those linings very well, so I think we'll put regular linings in them. He says, I'll take the other ones out. I don't know if this makes sense, because I'm
making sense.
I'm not a mechanic,
It's
but
making sense.
this is what I was told. So I says, well, do whatever you have to do, but I got to get rid of that noise. So we do the same thing. He takes it in, he changes the linings and so forth. And he says, now again, he says, this new set of brakes will take you know, a few days to hone in and get
Right.
working
Wear
out
in.
well. Wear in.
Right.
I still am grinding coffee after about a week.
Wait, you're grinding coffee with the van, or
As
you're
I s-
grinding coffee for the business?
As I step on the brakes, I'm still grinding coffee after the new set of linings.
Oh,
are
okay,
in.
so, okay, all right, I got it.
Now, in frustration, I go back 3 or 4 times, and I'm saying to the gentleman, names, of course, will be omitted.
Yes, please.
How come we can't get this problem solved? I mean, you know, you're the mechanic. I mean, you have a sign up there that says, we service all makes of cars, you know, experts, blah, blah, all kinds of diplomas on the wall and everything else. And I'm getting frustrated because on top of time and effort and money,
Right.
the problem is still not there. Now, this gentleman, I guess he must have had a bad hair day or something, but he started to get very defensive and, well, you know, we can't fix everything that happens with every little noise. What do you mean every little noise? I'm grinding coffee every time I step on the brakes. So in frustration, I finally had to take it to a local Ford dealer. I was told that might be my best solution. So I called the gentleman at the Ford dealership, and he says, well, bring it in. He says, and we'll have one of our boys take it out and, you know, take out a spin with you and see what the story is. So one of their top mechanics was assigned to me to go out and drive in the car. And we were, after we left the dealership, we were no more than maybe 40 yards away from the dealership. And he says, okay, step on the brakes and let me hear the sound, which I did. Within 2 seconds, he says, let's take it back. I know what's wrong with it.
Really?
Within 30 seconds.
So you got to the bottom of the problem. Instead of writing a check,
Yes.
you had somebody get in the vehicle and take a ride with you.
Yes.
So they could find out what was wrong with
That's
you.
exactly right. So he says, I know exactly what's wrong with it. Let's go back to the shop and I'll explain it. So he explains it to me, and even though I kid you a lot saying that I taught you everything I know
Yeah,
about
you try that
automobiles,
all the time, yes, yes.
I do not know everything about automobiles. I
No,
know a
I
little
know
bit about
that. I know that. Just surprised.
Where's Frank Coluccio?
our guest is shocked. But it had to do with, you may know what I'm speaking about. It had to do with these rings that are on the brakes, and they transfer the information to the brain.
We had talked about that. I believe we're talking about an ABS sensor on the wheel. It's a ring,
Yes.
and there's a device that points into it so that it measures the speed of the wheel.
That's exactly right.
an ABS sensor.
And what had happened was those 2 rings on the front brakes had cracked. And as the gentleman explained it to me, it wasn't sending the brain the right information, so the brains were rattling is what happens. And that's why I was getting...
some truth to a rattling brain.
So that's why I was getting that noise of grinding coffee.
I see.
So I said, well, what is it going to take to repair this? And can you do it? And can we do it right away? I says, I don't need any more coffee, you know.
But you actually got the guy to get in the vehicle and go for a ride with you?
Oh, yes, I did.
Yeah.
I said, I refuse to pay for anything until you actually hear what's going on.
Good move.
So that you know what I am talking about.
That, Frank, I got to give it to you. That was a stroke of genius.
Well, I told you I know all this stuff about automobiles, and if you
Frank,
listen, I'll
Frank,
teach you some more.
You never taught me that.
Okay. But the end result was, the car, he said, well, come back in a couple of hours and we'll have it all ready for you and so forth. And I says, okay, that's great. The end result was I went back, I picked up the car. I of course, wrote him out a check for the cost of the
Of course,
the
you gotta
rings
pay for the
and
repairs.
I don't mind paying for something. That's not been my problem. What I mind is when you pay for something and the problem that you went in with originally is not solved.
Well, does that dovetail into another problem that you had?
Oh, yes.
Another one?
Yes. But I'll hold that story off till maybe the second segment. But to make the long story short, as far as this particular problem I had, I never had 1 ounce of trouble after that. The brakes were absolutely perfect. No noise, no nothing. And it just proves that, I guess it proves that you have to try to find the right person to do the job.
I think that's right, and I think where a lot of people are missing the boat, and when I say, I'm not talking about my friends here, I'm talking about the average consumer. I was a service manager in a previous life, and I always found that the best thing anybody could ever do when they brought their car in for service is exactly what you just heard Frank say. If you have a problem that you can't get across to somebody, the best thing you can ever do is ask them to get in a vehicle and take a ride with you. If they care about working on your car, and they care about you as an individual, they're not going to care about taking a 5-minute ride down the street.
Well, one of the, I don't mean to interrupt you, but one of the things that I found about many mechanics, and all kidding aside, as a young man, I was in the garage business, the service business, and I know exactly what you're talking about caring about working on people's cars.
And you get your fingernails clean already.
And they're actually clean after all these years. Well, of course, I haven't done it for a lot of years, but one of the things I find that even though you pay these enormous prices, I mean, you know, mechanics are now getting $80 an hour
Well, they
to work
don't
on your
really
car.
get $80 an hour.
Well, oh,
Frank.
yes, they are.
No, you're being charged $80 an hour.
Okay.
The mechanic doesn't make $80 an hour.
We're being charged $80 an hour, and if you're being charged that kind of money, you should at least expect results.
Oh, yes, definitely.
And then on top of that, when you go into many of these places, and I'm not talking about dealerships in particular, I'm talking about any garage or any mechanic.
Any repair facility.
Any repair facility that claims that they're experts in the field of repairing automobiles, you get an attitude. You get an attitude from
Not
these people.
everywhere, Frank.
No, I tell you, I've gone to a lot of garages because as I was on the road, as you are on the road a lot, I covered my route was from Provincetown, Massachusetts, all the way up to the New Hampshire border. And many times I'd break down in between those areas, and I would have to find people to work on my car, okay? And there's an attitude that permeates through some of these garages that you bother them when you pull your car in.
Really?
You're bothering them. Oh, yes, and this is widespread in the industry.
When I
agree
worked,
with that.
when I worked in Fall River, in a car dealership, none of my staff that worked for me ever treated any customer like that. You could have 10 or 15 people lined up at the service counter in the morning, and as the minute that door opened up, that person walking in, you lift your head up and you acknowledge their presence. Yeah, I'll be with you as quickly as I possibly can. I mean, you can't say, I'll be with you in a second, I'll be with you in a minute.
That's right.
You
That's
still have to
exactly
go through the line.
Right.
But I think what Frank is saying is there are plenty of places out there, And I've seen my share as well as everybody here has seen their share. I think there are plenty of places out there that don't have that philosophy.
That's right.
It's true.
That they just go by their appointments, and they don't understand that sometimes there are quote-unquote car emergencies.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
so when a customer who is as dumb as I am walks into a car dealership or a service area and is looking for help because I have a car emergency, I'm a nuisance.
Yeah.
And I think that's what,
That's exactly the point I was trying to
because I'm
come
not
to.
on the schedule.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So I know there are plenty of places like what you just explained, that there are service techs and customer service people who will say, I'll be with you as quickly as I can, and they are pleasant and they are nice, and I've seen them and I've met them and I've shaken their hands, but there are plenty of places that aren't like that as well.
Now, I really hate to do this because we're really on a roll, and I don't mean a bookie roll either, but, you know, this is very interesting. I really want to get into this with David because I understand he's got the line on purchasing a baseball franchise. So
Very good.
I hope that everybody will tune in.
See what I tell you, the first segment's you two, and the second segment's me.
Well, it'll be all of us in the next segment also. But, you know, it would be very interesting to a lot of the Boston Red Sox fans in town.
Is he
that-
buying the Red Sox?
That they heard about Dave's ambitions and what's on the threshold as far as the Red Sox are concerned.
Oh, I'm not allowed to talk about that, though.
No, you're
I
not.
signed a contract that says I'm not allowed to talk about it.
Oh, you didn't tell me that Theo told you that. But at
See,
any
Theo and I
rate-
are like this,
Yes.
and we're not really on speaking terms right now, but it's all telepathically.
All right, okay. Well, at any rate, we've got more of these stories that we want to share with everybody. And what I'd like to say right now is make sure you tune in to the next episode. And thanks for tuning in, and make sure you come back real soon.
How much weight does one voice carry? Can one person really make a difference? The First Amendment says we are a nation of one persons, joined together for a common cause. Public access television is the First Amendment in action, empowering communities to openly share information beyond the reach of those who wish to control it.
Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof.
Or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press.
Or the right of the people peaceably to assemble. And to petition the government for a redress of grievances.
Don't even think about it.
Your voice, your vision, your channel. PAC TV.